Welcome back to the podcast, y'all, where self-improvement is the movement. Today, I have a very special guest, one of my good friends, Nico here. Met him last year, last summer,
Yeah, I think it was
around there.
last summer. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, man, and really grateful I was able to come across this guy, man. He's working his way up in the fitness industry, as far as content creation, influencer, things like that. I really like what Nico does, and he has a really good story, and I am happy to have him on to share that story. So, how you feeling today, man?
man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I appreciate you having me, man.
You said
It's an
you
honor.
were born ready, huh?
Man, I was born. I was telling him earlier. I said, you know how people say they were born ready for things, but I believe I was genuinely born ready for Jimmy 101.
I feel that.
I
I
was ready
feel it,
for
man.
it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on, man. First thing I always love to ask my guests:
mm.
how is your mental health at the moment in time?
Man, mental health. I'm not gonna lie, it's been really good. Um, it seems that a lot of the goals and things that I've had aligned and stuff that I wanted to work for, slowly, very slowly, but are seeming to kind of come together.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good. Yeah. So just with as far as my 9 to 5 work, as far as just the content, just the fitness, a lot more goals that are just being a lot of different. Every day I feel like I'm learning something new. So it's just like by people I talk to or just things that I'm doing. Man, it's been super exciting.
Yeah, as it should be, man.
Yeah.
How's all that content creation and stuff going, man? I know I'm helping you out along the journey, but how's it going for you right now?
Man, it's going great. I got to give a lot of credit to you, especially. I appreciate you and everything that
Yes,
you've
sir,
done.
for sure.
Definitely a lot of credit to my guy. His Instagram, CJ made some, but CJ is one of my best
Shout
friends.
out CJ.
So yeah, shout out CJ. He's done. Dude is phenomenal behind the camera. His media presence and how he's been teaching me a lot of stuff that I know. We kind of have this thing where it's like I'll eat the food and lift the weights, and he's kind of helping me doing the multimedia stuff like that. I'm just the guy in front of the camera trying
Mhm.
trying to be the best that I can be. So it's been fun. I think it's not really work right now. It's not really. I'm not really sitting here like, oh, I gotta do
And
this and
that's
do
the beauty
that,
of it,
man.
right?
Yeah, man. It's been like genuinely fun meeting new people, just walking around the gym and seeing and just trying to learn as much as I can. It's a different approach, Before I'm working out to just work out, whatever,
Yeah.
Before I'm looking at content just to look at content, but now it seems like everything that I'm looking at, everything that I'm doing, the workouts that I'm doing, there's intention behind it. There's like, okay, why am I watching this? Oh,
Mhm.
he's watching this because this caught my eye. Okay, maybe let me add this into my stuff or whatever. So it's been fun. That's probably the ultimate word I would use.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nico, man, I was gonna talk about this a little bit later, but I'm gonna talk about it now since you already brought it up.
Mhm.
One thing I really, admire about you and what you do is that you're so open to learning. You're so open to, hearing other perspectives from other people when it comes to the fitness world.
Mhm.
How did it get to the point where you've become such a sponge of obtaining knowledge and knowing the why behind things and just learning, because
Yeah.
a lot of people our age and the mid-20s, even younger, don't really have that type of skill set to want to learn or want to listen or want to
Yeah.
just hear from other people. How
Right.
did that come about for you?
Man, I would say ultimately my dad. I was blessed to have my dad a lot in my younger life, teaching me a lot of things. Back then, I thought he was super tough on me, and I was like, "Oh man, my dad's like this." But now I really realize a lot of the things that I think and the reasons why I think is because of him. Something that stays in my mind, in the back of my mind, everywhere I go, everything I do, is something he taught me growing up. And his saying was, when you get like advice or when you get things from different people, keep what you want, keep what you need, throw the rest out because there's so much information out there
Mhm.
that I can be telling you different things and this and that, and you don't necessarily have to listen to everything. But it's always great to be open minded, and you never know what anybody can teach you
Yeah,
as you go along. It's he also used to say you have two ears and one mouth, so there's a reason for that. We need to listen more than we talk. So yeah, I might lift weights or I might do a lot of things, but I don't know everything. There's so much information I don't know, so I just feel like every opportunity of meeting new people is something I can always learn from. Also, for my work, I work for Enterprise in the truck division, so I'm working with a lot of businesses and things like that. So I have to catch everything that they're saying
For
because
sure.
to use it for later.
Yep.
So it's like I try to implement that in that fitness as well. It's like, okay, let's listen and really and listen to the person speaking from there.
For you to be humble enough to be able to receive whatever information they might be giving you and implementing that into your lifestyle or to your workouts or to your whatever.
Right.
I really like that, man, and I wish more people were, had that kind of mindset because, like you said, a lot of people feel like they think they know more than they actually do,
Right.
and that's the downfall for a lot of people,
Hmm.
right? So I'm really glad you have that type of mindset
Yeah, and I would say ultimately it is a pride thing because even on myself, there's
for
times where
sure.
it's I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's embarrassing is a bad word. It's more, man, I don't want to feel like I don't know, or like in school, whenever you raise it, I feel like we've all developed this in second grade. Like, oh, what's 3 plus 3, and we raise our hand, oh, it's 12, and they're like, no, and then the whole class is laughing at you. You kind of develop that I don't want to be wrong kind of thing. But man, it's so important to be wrong because you learn. It's the
You
only way
learn.
to learn.
Yeah.
So I think that's super important.
You also talked about your boy CJ and your circle of influence. Speak to me about how important your circle of influence and the people around you, your friends, family are to you and how they impact your life.
Super important, man. Having the people around you is how you're gonna be.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time. Who you hang out with is who you are. So I would love to surround myself with people who I know number one are in my corner, but not because like, oh yeah, go Nico, but will tell me the truth when I need it. Not really what I want to hear, but what I need to hear
Mm.
at the time, even if I don't like it. Like I was talking about my dad. Like my dad is definitely not going to tell me what I want to hear. He's going to tell me what I need to hear.
That's all dads for sure.
You know what I'm
My
saying?
pops
So
like that too.
yeah, so it's like in the moment you're like, oh my god, dad, I don't want to hear that, but you're like, man, he's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Like, damn it,
whatever's
dad,
good.
you're right again.
Yeah. So it's super important, man. So just knowing that I'll use CJ again because he's coming up. He's on a grind right now, in all of his work and all of his business, and it's super motivating for myself to see.
For sure.
Especially somebody you've grown up with pretty much. I've known him since freshman year of college. So seeing what we used to do, hanging out, having fun, playing video games, and now it's like we're having fun, but in a different way.
Yeah,
You
in a
know,
productive way.
exactly. And it's like my motto, I would say, or my thing I'm taking into 2025 is live with intention, be with intention. Everything that you do should have intention.
Mm.
So if whatever I'm doing, whether it be working out, whether it be hanging out, is this going to help me or is this going to tear me down in any type of way? So that hugely impacts you with your circle of influence. Now, with that, my circle of influence, my circle of friends is not huge. It's not the biggest in the world, but I'm okay with that because I know the people that are around me. We are with intention of becoming better than who we were yesterday. So that's ultimately the goal.
I love how you brought up intention as a goal for 2025 because
Hmm.
that's actually one of my main goals
Hmm.
for this year. One of my pillars that
Yeah.
I'm going to live by this year, just because for me specifically, I tend to get lost and complacent when
Hmm.
it comes to the day to day grind.
Yeah.
I tend to kind of drift off because there's so many distractions out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going out to
Yeah.
parties, drinking, social media,
Yeah.
all type of stuff you can get distracted with. Right when there's a mission you have
Yeah.
at hand,
Right.
and I've fell victim to being drifted away from what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
As far as 2024, what was the biggest lesson that you've learned in general?
Man, the biggest lesson I would say so far, and it's come later in life, is and I say this, with all respect, you cannot care what anybody is doing or what they think about you or in any way. You hear that all the time, right? Don't worry about other people, but genuinely, you can't worry about. Like, my bad, I didn't mean to hit that. Like, whenever I would say this: the ultimate thing was comparison,
Mm,
as far as caring what people are doing,
okay.
because when you sit there on social media, I mean, we're on social media all the time with trying to grow and things like that. You sit there and you see other people doing better than you, or you see other people maybe living. They're doing exactly what you're doing, but maybe they're blowing up a lot faster, or their videos are getting more likes, or whatever, whatever. And you can sit there and you're just like, why am I not there? Like I'm doing all this stuff. Like what the heck?
Yeah.
Um, man, it's just the biggest thing I learned so quickly was like, okay, let's learn how to turn it off, because it's always gonna happen. You can't just be like, oh, I'm not gonna worry about what other people think.
Yeah.
We're human, man. Like, it's gonna come up. But I think the most what I've learned was just to catch myself and be like, okay, let me put this to the side. If I'm scrolling too much and I start comparing, okay, let
Catch
me
yourself in the moment.
let me catch
Yep.
myself. Let me put it down. Let me read a book. Let me watch something else. Let me do. Let
Hmm.
me, you know what I'm saying. Let me go hit, something like that. So I think the most I've learned was to catch myself and turn it off. So I think that would probably be the biggest takeaway I've had from last year.
And it probably took you a while to get there, right?
Yeah, it definitely did, man. Growing up,
Mm.
especially whenever I was in my bigger stage, before I started working out as heavily as I did, like it was something I was always comparing. I was always looking at other people like, oh, their lives are better than me, especially like in the workforce. People who I graduated college with, high school with, oh, they're having their businesses thrive and doing all this stuff, and I'm like, oh man, like it's like, nah, you have a path that you want to do. Everybody has different goals, different things that they're doing, and stay on your right path. As long as you're doing the right thing, man, just continue every day, get 1% better every single day, or 0.1% better every single day.
Yeah. Everyone has their own timeline. I like to tell
Exactly.
people. There's something called energy transmutation. I don't know if you've heard of it,
Mm-mm.
but it's kind of like a spiritual term that I kind of learned when I was going through a tough time a couple of years ago, and it's whatever you're going through that is negative, you have to find a way, and there always is a way to spin it into a positive, to
I've heard you
spin
say
it
that.
into
Yeah.
something productive.
Mm-hmm.
Always,
Right.
no matter what. I mean, it can be some of the harshest stuff you'll ever go through in your life.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
You might not feel like you're ever gonna get out of that situation or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
but you have to find a way to use it as motivation, use it as a learning lesson, use it as fuel to the fire, use
Right.
it as a tool to get better.
Right.
And that's kind of how I've lived over the past couple years, and I've seen it pay big dividends for me.
Yeah.
So energy transmutation, guys,
Yeah.
is a huge thing that a lot of other people need to practice. But do me a quick favor, flex for the camera real quick, flex real quick,
Both
real
arms or
quick.
just one arm?
Whatever you feeling.
Just something
Show
like
off the guns. Yeah, there we go.
that. A little
So
tricep too.
this wasn't always the case, right?
No, was
I
not.
want you to go back to memory lane and take me to, as far back as when this whole journey started.
Yeah. May 2nd, 2022 is when
Exact
officially
date.
everything started. May 2nd, 2023. I'm sorry. 23.
23.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
At 5 a.m. Yeah.
So what was going leading up to that? Was it May 2nd you said?
May 2nd.
What was leading up to May 2nd?
So leading up to May 2nd was a lot. I just got out of college. I had my job. I first got the big boy job. You getting the big paycheck, stuff like that. I had a girlfriend at the time, my college girlfriend at the time. Everything was going pretty well. With relationships, you get in relationship weight a little bit, stuff like that. So you grow a little bit from there. It was a little bit at the time, and then it started growing a little bit more. Anyway, the biggest thing that happened was my mom actually got sick. She got this rare disease. It's called NMO. So Nancy Mary Octopus. For your people who want to say it, NMO. It's a very rare disease that they're like antibodies that attack itself. So your own antibodies kind of attack. So her antibodies attacked like her top spine. So it kind of messed with her whole immune system.
Mm.
So she was like bedridden for like 2 months. She lost a lot of weight. She was in the hospital for a long time. So it was really tough. There was a lot of stuff going on. So I'm like, it's my mom. Like, I'm a mama's boy. I'm not gonna lie. Love my mama. Love you, mom. But anyway, so it's like, yeah, it was tough to see. And during that, I had like this attitude of, I have a 9 to 5 job. I was very big, but I was very strong in the gym. So I was throwing around stuff. So I had this mindset of like, I'm him kind of thing, like I'm the guy. And I really brought that into my relationship. So with that in turn, of course, she didn't really like that too much. And it just turned to a lot of bickering and fighting and go back and forth. And while my mom's in the hospital, she decided to end it. which there's no hate towards her at all. We're adults. We grew, and it
In
was
the
kind of
relationship?
in the relationship. Yeah,
Okay.
she couldn't do it. So I had to kind of self reflect at the time. I realized, but she was done. So I had that going on. Had that going on. Broke up with that. And also at the time, my family was going through, because my mom was sick. Different things were happening in my family. Everyone just seemed like it just seemed like this span of months, everyone was just a lot of bickering, a lot of fighting, a lot of just anger with everything. And I felt like I was in the middle, just like trying to hold it down, trying to put on this face of like I'm him, I'm the guy, but really deep down, man, I was hurting
Yeah.
bad. Um, so I just decided just to do what I did in college, man. Just go out and go to parties, go hang out with people, go out and drink, go out and smoke, do different things that a lot of people, this is how you put it to the side. Let me put it under the carpet. Let me not worry about it. I won't think about it. Um, and that in turn made my mental health horrible. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
started getting late to work, started not getting things done, skipping workouts. I wasn't working out like I was now, but it was like even then I wasn't going to the gym. I'm a pretty religious guy as well. Was not going to church. Wasn't doing anything like that. I was going back into my just into the stage of just being, you know, just going. My old football coach used to say, "Pissing in the wind." You're just that piss, just going wherever life takes you, and that was it. And I genuinely feel like I just felt like there was no purpose for me. I just felt like I was just whatever. Like this is just I'm just gonna do this and die one day. Like that was just my mindset. And yeah, man, it was tough. I look back now and I just think in that mindset, I was like, man, that's just I really didn't care about anything. That's just not a not a good way to live,
Yeah.
you know. And I was going to the hospital and just seeing my mom on the bed with all the doctors and just how my dad was there and it was hurting my dad. So seeing my dad in pain because of his wife, it was just a lot of stuff that was leading up to that. Um, so yeah, so that all that was going on, and I woke up one morning, 5 a.m. May 2nd. Uh, I got up and looked in the mirror, and like you go in the bathroom, you use the restroom. Looked in the mirror, I just saw myself just the way I was. I was super big, cause I'm a little bit shorter, and I had a lot of weight. I had too much weight on me, and I looked in the mirror. My hair was all messed up, and I just stared at myself just for a while, and I was just like, "What are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you?" You know what I mean? I literally was telling myself like, "I hate you. I hate you. I hate everything about you." And I was just telling myself that in the mirror. And while I was doing that, like I was just like, I'm gonna decide right now. I don't know what I need to do, but I need to change. I need to change something. I need to do something. I need to be something. I need to see something. So I started with the thing that I knew the most, which was fitness. I was so angry at everything, and the motivation at the start was to get back, of course, at the ex girlfriend. That
Mm.
was the main thing. I'm gonna look good to look, whatever, get back at her. So then I started. I'm gonna shout out Merc Fitness. I follow him on. I've been following him probably since for a long time. On YouTube. Watched his videos, stuff like that. He had an app that he did. I literally read his stuff, did his stuff like the Bible, man. I was just like, I'm gonna just follow this to a T, and I hope it works. And it did. So I just started doing the stuff and just working out and just eating right, doing all that stuff, and it started progressing. Um, and then 3 months later, I find out that my ex girlfriend had a new guy.
Mm.
So then the motivation just goes even harder into an
Ramped
extra
up.
and a step up, right? So I'm,
Yeah.
like, I'm better than that guy, right? So it's funny because it's like you hear a lot of gym stories of a lot of gym guys, like that's how they start, right? They get their heart broken and then they
For
go from
sure.
there.
Yep.
So that's how it started, and then just going every single day. There was no change to me. I was trying to take progress pics when I could, but I still saw big ugly Nico in the mirror every single day. And but the way that I was thinking, like it was no longer okay. I hate you. It was like I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change.
Mm.
Like I don't know what I don't know how long this is gonna take. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how, but I just know I'm gonna change. I know whenever I speak to my family, I'm gonna speak differently. I'm gonna speak more lovingly, more openly, because I know we're all going through things. Before it was everything that was said is like, oh, I don't want to hear it. I want to argue, whatever, whatever. Now it's just like I'm gonna speak differently. Even if they're coming at me, let me take that with a grain of salt and let me speak differently. The people that I met, Let me stop going to these parties. Let me stop going out with these people that I don't even know. It was work, work acquaintances and different things that I was just finding. It's like, let me stop doing that. Let me stay in, with my dad when he's at home. Let me stay in and watch service online and stuff. Sundays usually I went to go visit my mom. Let me do different things. Just change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You got to make changes.
Yeah.
Vaughn says that all the time. So, long story short, and it's a long story, a lot of stuff. During this time, I just kept going. Started to see different changes and different things, and that's what really motivation. All the the ex girlfriend, all that stuff that went out the window. It was no longer the motivation. The motivation was like, okay, my life is getting straight. Um, I say all glory to God. My mom started getting a lot better. She started going to physical therapy. My family started to be a little bit more loving, more caring, and now we're into a sense of just better.
Yeah.
Everything is better. And I'm not saying because of what I did or because I changed, everything else changed. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is my mindset changed, and it was no longer woe is me. It was what am I going to do to change at least what I'm thinking? Because you can't change what's going on in the world. You can only control the controllables.
Yeah.
So I can control what I can control, and that was really just my mindset. Because I couldn't control the fat, leaving me automatically. I couldn't control my mom getting better. I couldn't control any of that stuff. But I could control what my actions were and how I was with people, and how my mindset was every single day and every morning that I woke up.
Mm.
And that's what in turn made me appreciate life and made me feel like I had a purpose, and made me feel like, okay, my purpose right now is getting skinnier, maybe getting a six pack. Okay, now my purpose is being more loving and being a better brother. I have siblings, being a better son, learning from people, learning how this works, being better at my 9 to 5 every single day, going in. Let me be on time. Let me show up. Let me do the work that needs to be done. Give 100% every single day. Um, so yeah, that really in turn, that's pretty much as that goes up to how I am today, of just all of that grit and all of that now.
Mm-hmm.
What I ultimately say is it's nothing special. It's no crazy story that's sporadic, anything like that. What I think is so simple about the story is that anybody can do it. Anybody can really do it because nothing was crazy life changing. Yeah, my mom was in the hospital, but she was in the hospital. Thank God she had the opportunity to go to the hospital. Yeah, I lost a girl along the way, but everybody gets broken up with. Everybody gets those things. The simplicity of the story is I just decided one day to get up and make a change, and I started to do it, and I just started to attack it. So when you change your mindset, you can change so many things,
Yeah.
man.
Going back to your mom, how long was she in the hospital?
She was in there for about 4 months,
Okay.
3 to 4 months.
Was it
Yeah.
just like she was there? Or was it on and off type of?
No, she was there.
Wow.
Yeah, she was there, and she was losing weight. She was a lot of stuff was going on, as far as like she couldn't walk.
Mm-hmm.
She had to learn how to relock like with a walker, and
Mm.
people had to help her. Just going to the bathroom, things like that. Like it was like her whole mind was just against her. So it's a very crazy disease. If if you posted or anything, y'all know anything about it, comments. We're still learning about it. She's still even now is like she's not completely healed. They told her it's gonna stay with you, but she has like different kinds of infusions that help out. Quick science. What they do is they take out her antibodies that are like against her,
Mm-hmm.
every couple of months, and they put in like these other antibodies that are kind of drunk. They call them drunk, but so that way if like something comes in, they don't attack it automatically. They're like, what is that? And they don't. That's how the doctor explained it. So that doesn't attack itself.
Mm.
So that's kind of like how it is because if the antibodies are full strength, like they'll just attack the spine. In turn, her immune system is super low because, of course, your antibodies fight sicknesses and stuff like that. But she's very healthy. She eats right. She does what she does. So
Back up on her feet.
yeah, back up on her feet.
Sure.
She's walking and stuff, and just her and my dad are just taking on the world together, man. It's super motivating to
Love
see.
to see that.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
And I'm sure you've built a stronger appreciation and stronger love for your mom and your family since that moment, right?
big time, man,
Yeah.
big time. And like I said, even now, just like I said, with intention, when I see my family, I make sure like it's a great time that
Mm-hmm.
we're talking love, that we're talking with love, we're talking about everything, just being there for each other. I don't want to leave upset, angry about anything. If they say something about me or whatever, let me just throw it off because it's like it's his family.
Yeah.
So
And then going back to your I guess the girl that ended up leaving you.
Mm.
Um, I do want to say this. The great part about what you said is that at first your mindset was to kind of get back at her and use that as motivation,
Right.
which is not necessarily a bad thing to start out.
Right.
We're human, man. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
But it gets to a point where it's like, okay, bro, you got to do this for you.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
this is your life.
Exactly.
People are going to come and go,
Yep.
and not everything's going to be great and not
Yeah.
everything's going to go your way, but damn it, this is the life you're living.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think for a lot of people out there, and especially a lot of guys, they tend to like internalize things like that
Mm-hmm.
to a way where it's like they're not even doing what they're doing for themselves. They're
Right.
doing it for the validation of other people.
Right.
I see that a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
And people won't admit it, but that's just the fact of it,
Yeah.
Um talk to how your mindset changed and how that could help other people switching that mind frame from using whatever happened to you as motivation to okay, like be better for you.
Yeah. It's ultimately finding your why, man. It's finding your why of why am I getting up in the morning? Oh,
Mm,
to make more money. Why? Why do you want to make more money? Oh, because I want to provide for my family. Why? As you were saying, as a man, you have so much pride because there's so much things that you're supposed to be doing, and it's like that's what we want to do. You know, when I think about, like I said, I bring it up my dad a lot because he's probably one of the most influential people in my life growing up and just what he's taught. Backstory about them: they came from Chicago. They were super poor, and my mom decided she was like, it was just bad. They were in the South Side. It was really bad down there, crime, things like that. And my mom was like, I'm leaving. I'm going to Texas, with or without you, because I want a better life. And my dad was like, all right, well, I guess I'm coming with you. So he came over. He started his business from nothing, ground up. I say all that to say, he tells me when I was younger, he used to tell me all the time. I was doing that. I was sleeping at the shop. I was not coming home and being with my wife because I was trying to create a business for you guys, send you to college, take care of you, all that stuff, which I do believe to a certain extent. But ultimately now, what I see is that everything that happened with my mom is a lot of money. All that stuff was a lot of money. He didn't even know it yet.
yeah.
But ultimately, what he was doing through all those years was creating a business to have responsibility for my mom
Mm,
and to take care of her. He didn't even know it. Yeah, this is for my kids. This is for whatever, whatever. So it's like I say that to say like you're doing what you're doing. You don't even know ultimately know your why at the time, but you never know down the line of because we are doing this for us, like you said. But I ultimately believe that we're doing this for the people around us to take care of the people that are around us,
yeah.
whether it be work, whether it be, and it's not just money. It's being that rock of emotional state. A lot of people come with issues, with problems, with talking, and they don't know who else to turn to. And I fully believe we got to be the ones that are going to be stern and be the ones to say the right things, not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And not take those problems on and anything like that. So I know I'm kind of saying two different things, but ultimately finding your why is the most important thing.
for
And if
sure.
if your why is going to be family, make it family and go deep in, how you were saying I ask why behind everything. You want to know exactly why you're doing all the different things because if not and you're just getting up and just doing whatever, you're going to be pissing in the wind. Or like you said, at first it was for the ex-girlfriend, but like you said, that stuff fades away
Yeah.
so quickly because you're right, people do come and go. We're not the same people we were when we were together. She's different, I'm different. So if I still had that motivation of, oh, I'm gonna try to get back at her, and now I'm at this stage and I'm trying to get back with her or whatever, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You're two
And
different
people make
people.
that mistake a lot.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I fully believe we both grow. I don't know what she's doing, but I'm saying we've both grown in different avenues. So we're both different people. As far as relationships go, you gotta, like you said, you find that why of what you're doing it for. Now I'm doing it because I have already seen people come up to me and say, dude, I love when you said this. Like I was struggling with this. Or they feel like I'm not trying to be the guy like, hey, come to me with your problems. I'm gonna help you out. I know all the answers. No, no, no. I want you to know that I'm just like you, and that if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
If I can get through it, you can get through it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If I can just sit there and go through everything that I was going through and just try to decide to change my mindset, you can do it. You know what I mean? And I want to be that avenue of like, I want to change, and I want to be used as that motivation as well. But the same way I look up to all these guys that I look up to, use them as motivation. I would love to be that for somebody else, because it's not. Yeah, it's fun to get likes and comments and stuff, but it's ultimately those comments that you get, or those DMs that you get of like, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not because I don't want all the credit. You know what I mean? I don't want, oh yeah, I changed this kid's life. Nah, man. It's like, I want to know that you saw in me what you could be in a couple of years
Yeah.
if you just stay consistent.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really ultimately what I look for.
Man, that's exactly why I do what I do as well.
Yeah.
Because how I explain it to people is like when I was struggling and kind of going through it, I didn't have a relatable figure to look up to.
Mm.
Um, you know, but me getting myself out of that situation mentally
Yeah.
and me striving to become what I'm, wanting to be, I do want to help people along the way that were in the position that Jimmy was in 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of little Jimmys out there that are in that situation right now.
Right.
And I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I say all that to say, that's my why as to why I do what I do.
Yeah.
My whole thing is, Jimmy, one of one, be different, be yourself. Everyone has their own unique journey. Just embrace it. Embrace it.
Yeah.
Whether it's going good, whether it's bad right now, just embrace it. Everyone's story's different. That's the beauty of life.
Right.
That's the beauty of it, man.
Yeah.
There's no one answer for everything.
Yeah.
So I can give someone advice, but I mean, it could help you, could not.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can take what you want, the rest of it, throw it out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did that whole breakup situation change your mindset on relationships at all?
Not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. I feel like as we grow older, you learn new things about everything. Like I said, um, I every relationship that you go through, that you be in, you learn a little bit about not just the person but yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn, okay, you don't change yourself for anybody, but ultimately how you do things. Relationships is work. Everything is work,
Yeah.
and relationships are work.
A lot of
So
work.
you know what I mean. So I look back, and I just ultimately learned like, okay, what let me look at this in the sense of like, okay, what went wrong? Not because, oh, I want to get back or whatever. It's really just ultimately, was there anything on my end that I can fix for the
Mm-hmm.
next person? You know what I mean? If because we're not perfect people, but at the same time, it's just like every single day you're getting better. Yeah, I'm getting better in the fitness world. I'm getting better in the work world. But it's like, okay, I want to be better with people, and that's not just with girlfriends either. It's just with everybody you come in contact with. You know what I mean? You're learning a little bit about, okay, how is this person? Should I say this? Should I say that? Different things. But to answer your questions, no, it didn't change anything as far as like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want this or I don't want that. I will say it did help me though choose and look at like the next relationship a little bit differently. Like, what do I want in the person? Because at the time it was just a college relationship. It was just whatever. We're together in college. It's fun. But now as we get older, it's like, okay, what am I looking for in that person? Living with intention. Is this person making me better? Am I making this person better? Are we
Yeah.
growing together? And it's just kind of how I look at it now.
So moving forward to what you're doing now, you're obviously um, big into the fitness world and whatnot, and you love to bring value to people through. It's kind of unique for you because I think you like to learn and be a sponge and learn from other people. That way, you're able to help other people.
Right.
So it's like a trickle down effect, and I
Exactly.
really like that a lot.
Hmm.
Um, why fitness? Why pursue this?
Man, I guess I look back and it's ultimately like what started my mindset change is I started seeing I started seeing that, the fat getting shredded off. I started seeing the muscle starting to grow. I started to see my strength turn into not being just big strength, but genuine strength.
Yeah.
I started seeing learning about food, learning nutrition. I put that into you're getting, I keep saying that you're getting 0.1% better every single day because, Sam Solik said it one time. He was like, one workout, skipping or going is not going to change anything about your body. Nothing. But doing it 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, as you go all the way, there's going to be changes in there, whether you're not going or you are going. So there's going to be changes in there as you can stay consistent. I view fitness as the ultimate in life in everything that you're doing, no matter what your goals are, no matter what you're doing. So, like you said earlier, some people they do get it overnight. Great, man. That's awesome for you. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are a lot of times that we need to stay consistent with what we're doing because that's how you catch your goals,
Yeah.
in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? It's just like if I want to work on, I don't know, I'll use CJ. If I wanted to be a photographer, I know nothing about cameras. Literally nothing. I'm not gonna go to a photo shoot tomorrow and be like, I'm the best at this. You know what I'm saying? Every single day I have to learn something new because there's a ton of buttons on all this stuff.
A
I
lot of
have
stuff.
no idea
Yeah.
what any of this stuff is. You know what I'm saying? So I use that as an example of just like every single day I'm learning and every single thing that I'm doing. As you continue to move on and everything that you do in your life, you're getting a little bit better at something and you're making progress. I feel like this life is all about progress as we grow older. You learn from your mistakes. That's progress. Everything is progress. So why fitness is because I see progress in everything that I'm doing, and that in turn keeps my mindset of like, okay, I'm doing it in fitness. I need to do this with my family. I need to do this in my relationships. I need to do this in my work, and everybody that I come in contact with. It's progress.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it really ultimately keeps my mind right on how I should be in all doings of my life. You know, being in the, like I said, in the church way, going in church and serving people. I think we're ultimately here to be here for people and serve people. And that just keeps it to where everything takes time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't feel discouraged when it's not happening right away in a week or a month because it's going to take a long. Like I said, I started in 22. Like it's been 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's very subtly, it was not very quick. I wasn't, one day I'm super big and then the next day I have a six pack. Nah, it took a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's the progress, the fun of it.
Do me a favor. Finish this sentence. Practice makes.
Perfect.
No, delete that mindset, y'all. Delete that mindset. Delete that mindset. Delete that
Facts.
mindset.
Facts.
Practice makes improvement.
Improvement.
I think perfection and just the word perfect is an illusion.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a such thing.
Mm.
Just because there's so much there's subjectivity.
Right.
Like, okay, this person might think it's perfect, but is it perfect to the next man?
Yeah. That's true.
I think so many people paralyze themselves. It's called paralysis by analysis.
Mm.
It's when they overthink a situation or overthink, like, let's say, their daily routine of what they're gonna do every single day to get better, right? They overthink it to the point where they don't even fulfill any of that.
Right.
They just are so busy analyzing what they're gonna do, so busy preparing to live life
Mm-hmm.
instead of actually living life.
Right.
And I fell victim to that myself. I've always been preparing to live life.
Yeah.
And that's like, okay, that's like writing down your goals, saying you're going to do this, saying you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But okay, you got to actually, put that into action, right?
Exactly.
And once you actually do get into action, you're going to see improvement.
Right.
But a lot of
Yeah.
people aren't willing to sit through that time of growing and not seeing any results. You have to have the faith that it's all going to work out as long as you're doing the right thing every day.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're taking the necessary steps in order to get better in whatever your craft is.
Right.
I say all that to say, if you had a couple lines to give advice to a beginner trying to work out, trying to get into the gym, trying to lose weight, gain weight, whatever their goal is, if you had one piece of advice to give to a beginner, what would you tell them?
Stay consistent and don't harp on everything that you hear. The biggest thing that we lose, man, that's a lot. That's a good question. I would say that the main thing is staying consistent. But man,
Just from your perspective.
yeah, yeah. I would ultimately just say, like, no matter what your goals are, no matter what you're doing, number one, make a plan, stick to that plan. Every mentor, I call them mentors, everybody that I met and spoke with, everybody says the same thing in their own way. Make a plan, write it down, and stick to that plan. It's when we go off course of that plan. So stick to that plan and stay consistent in everything that you do. Um, have tunnel vision on that goal as well. Um, living with intention on that tunnel vision. Everything that's in my tunnel needs to be working towards the goals that I have of whatever I need to do. You know, am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing to get to that goal and what I want to do? I think that would be the ultimate thing that I would give, like, my personal advice, because I didn't start seeing changes. I didn't start seeing anything new until I was staying consistent and living with intention.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I didn't see anything change. You know, I tell all my I do training on the side as well. I have a couple clients, so I tell them all, take progress pics. Take progress pics, because you are going to see yourself as the same person as from day one. It doesn't matter. Body dysmorphia is it's horrible. I
Yeah.
still sometimes I'm looking at myself, you know. But when you take those progress pics, it's like you just mentioned. You look back and you're like, no, I have been making progress. I do look good. You know, you give yourself those small victories, and
Mm.
that's where that's staying consistent. That's making sure you stay on course.
Yeah.
You know, um, yeah,
One quote that popped up into my head while you were talking was, "Never mistake habit for hard work."
mm-hmm.
You can be really consistent at something and not make progress.
Yeah,
That's possible.
yeah. Oh, definitely.
It's definitely
I
possible.
agree.
The issue is the planning behind it.
Mm.
Now, I did mention paralysis by analysis, meaning like you don't want to overthink it,
Right.
but you do want to have a really good plan to attack whatever you're attacking,
Yeah.
whatever your goal is. And you just want to make sure because I'd rather you work super hard and not be as consistent than you be consistent and bullshit.
Yeah. That's true.
But obviously, you want both,
Right.
and it's really hard for people to find both.
Yeah. And I say that's ultimately finding mentors and finding people who have been there already.
Mm.
And that's where I believe guys like myself, guys like you come in, that we're showing you, like, hey, some things don't work as far as fitness. Some things don't work for everybody. But just know, like, these plans that we had, they worked, but we have two different stories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So somebody might have my story. Let me try that out. Let me try different things.
Mm.
Trying different things for different times, but being consistent on those. I think that's what that. If you try to do it by yourself, I mean, good luck.
A conversation with Von Walker
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago that you had with him.
Yeah.
Walk me through, what you learned from him, and how was that experience just talking to someone of that magnitude, man?
Man, number one, I was fanboying like crazy. I was trying to keep my composure the whole time. I was just like, this is Von Walker. You know, in the bodybuilding world, or I guess in the fitness world, he's at least to me, he's probably one of the top guys that I look up to. Him and Merck are the top guys. Yeah, it was just it was a crazy experience. So I guess the story was it was super down to earth. You know, we walked up to him and I just started chopping it up with him, trying to just talk with him and just see how it was. And he was super cool, super open, just answering questions about like his pretzels and stuff that he was selling and things like that. And CJ came up and he's kind of like my multimedia manager that helps me out. So he starts chopping up about cameras, and they're having like a little nerd out, talking about the cameras. And I'm just like, I don't know anything about it, but yeah, he tells me to stand here and I look good. Yeah, he said, while during that little spiel, he said something. He goes, I see me and my old cameraman and you two guys. And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. I was like,
That means a lot coming from.
that's what I'm saying. So I was like that. It was like, I'm like fanboying again, like trying to keep it down, getting all hyper. Anyway, so I asked him a question that I usually ask everybody that I interview off camera. And CJ was like, hey, we have our mics and I have it on my phone. Would you be okay with just answering it real quick? And he's like, yeah, actually, if y'all want to walk over here, let's get around the building. We can go away from everybody, away from the music, everything like that. Y'all can ask me whatever you want. And we were like, yeah.
That's super dope.
Yeah,
man.
it was super cool, man. So yeah, we went over there, had the whole thing. what I ultimately learned from him, man, is just how he is just being. He's a little bit more nonchalant as far as what he does is not really worrying. His biggest thing was not worrying about what other people think,
Hmm.
and to a certain T, to where it's like I'm gonna post what I post, I'm gonna do what I do, and I don't care what anybody thinks. You know what I mean? Like this is me. So everything, I was asking about content, how he creates content, how he creates stuff like that, and he's like, yeah, he goes, the thing that he said that I stuck with, he's like, if I can't even watch my own content, I don't think anybody's gonna want to watch it. But if I genuinely enjoy it, I'm gonna post it because that's me. That's who I am. That's what I like to do. Um, excuse me. He was like, "You're not gonna please everybody. It's just how it is in the world. You're gonna have haters. You're gonna have people who don't like you. Um, but man, it like I said earlier, it just ultimately gave me so much motivation of just like if he can do it, I can do it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It turned from a fanboy into like, okay, let's get to work. You know what I mean? Um, I definitely look up to him and listen to what he says, but I don't look at him as anymore as like a he's way up here and I'm way down here and I'm never gonna get there. It's more of like a I could be on that level of, and when I say level, I mean of just how personable he was and how open he was. Didn't
Hmm.
even know who I was and made me feel like we've been boys
Yeah,
for
that's the
forever.
biggest thing.
You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
that's a crazy. A lot of people don't have that skill. I've talked to a lot of people that I'm like, do you even want to talk to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would love to do that for people and just feel open, feel real, and also just in the fitness game, growing. I asked him questions off camera about like I told him I said, hey, I'm scared to eat, man. Like I was big, and I'm scared to get back to that point. But they say eat to grow, and he's just like, man, he goes, you already know what you need to do. You obviously did it. You just gotta stick to the plan, man. Now in the opposite direction. And he's like, you just gotta stick to it. You gotta just do it. Like there's no. And anybody could have told me that, and I would have been like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But because it was from him, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he'd been in that. But yeah, it was a type of motivation that I can't explain because it was just like, man, if I just keep going back to, man, like if he can do it, man, I can do it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So everything that I do now with intention is like just gotta get up there. You know what I'm saying?
Out of all the people that you've talked to and interviewed, I know you interviewed someone from Vigor Fitness,
Yeah, the owner.
the owner of
Yeah,
Vigor
yeah,
Fitness,
Dr. Steve.
Dr. Steve. And then you had a workout with, remind me his name,
David. He's the one of the
David.
head trainers at EOS here on in Fort Worth.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So, out of all the people that you've talked to recently, what is like one thing that hits home the most, or that you kind of remember the most?
They all spoke about when they were young because the question that I asked them is if you can go back to when you first started, like you asked me earlier, if you can go back to when it first started, and you can tell them you get 5 minutes with them when we all want 5 minutes with them, what would you want to tell them? I say two different things because Dr. Steve actually had a great look. He said everything happens for a reason.
Hmm.
Everything that you go through happens for a reason. We grow as people. We learn on everything that we do. Um, Something that David said was, you need to start now. You need to do what you're doing now. Um, you need to, whatever goals that you have that you want to attack. Ultimately, it comes up to what they were both stating is just like, what do you want to do? What's something that you enjoy doing? Dr. Steve said it directly, and as David was talking, the way he was talking about it, it kind of went to the same thing of like you talk to a lot of people, and usually if you ask them like, hey, what do you like to do, or what do you want to do,
Hmm.
9 times out of 10 they're not doing what they want to do. You know what I mean?
I did. Yep, I did hear that. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
9 times out of 10 they're doing what they don't want to do, and it's just like, well, go do that. Go do what you want to do. And a lot of times they're just like, well, money, or it's not enough money or what I want to do or anything like that. But it's like if you're genuinely waking up every single day with that passion and with that fire of like I'm making a difference, why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why not attack it? Why not do stuff that in that area arena, whether it be fitness, whether it be being a doctor or being anything like that, like why don't you go attack it the best way that you can and really study it and impact it? We all have different situations. I definitely understand. We all have different things that we have going on in our lives. I'm not saying, you need to just drop everything and just attack it. No, no, no. But what I did ultimately get from it is like if you definitely if you care about something and you want to get it done, man, you're the only person that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Nobody wakes up in the morning and wants to make your life better. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says like, you know what, I think I want to make Nico into one of the top, influential people in the world. It's not happening, and nobody should. You know what I mean? You don't wake up every morning want to make my life better. I don't wake up every morning, and we don't. You shouldn't. We shouldn't feel like you should be like that. It's just not how it is. You're the only person that's going to be able to do that. Um, so it just that really was as I was talking to them, I was just like, yeah, these guys. It seems like they genuinely love what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they genuinely are having fun with what they're doing, and it is coming out as they're explaining it. Like they're in a
That
spot.
you feel that passion.
You feel the passion, and it's
yeah.
just like I'm around at work sometimes, and I don't feel that from people. It's like I'm here to get that paycheck at the end of the
Yep.
week. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But to me, I was just like, man, I want to be able to have that same passion when I talk to somebody and give that motivation. You know what I mean? Vaughn the same way. Vaughn he's a little bit more quieter, but the way he was speaking, it was not, well, you wake up, you eat, you do this. It was like, yeah, if you want to get it done, because I did, kind of thing.
Mm.
So I ultimately got that from a lot of the interviews that I've done. It's a little bit different how I go about life sometimes. Especially we're men, so it's sometimes it feels like it's a little bit different in this day and age. We're not as seen as, I guess, like we should be doing what we're doing. It should be like everybody should be on the same plateau. When I say that, there's a quote that I say to myself every single day, especially like you said, looking for that positive aspect in everything. Kevin Hart actually said it. The sun is going to come up in the morning no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it sucks, but the world does not stop for anybody. You know what I mean? It does not stop. It's not, your job's not going to tell you, hey, you know what? Take a couple days. I know you just went through this, whatever. Depends on what it is, but ultimately it's not going to stop, man.
Yeah.
You got to go back to work. You got to get back up. If you have a family, you have kids, they got to be taken care of. They got to be fed. It's not going to stop. So there's nothing wrong with having feelings. There's nothing wrong with feeling things. I ultimately always say, I take that out and I say, okay, let's just say today I will go through a breakup today. And I'm hurt, I'm sad, I'm hurting bad. It's gonna hurt for a while. It's not gonna just leave you. Take that night, put on some sad music, put on the worst sad music you can do, and just cry. Just cry your eyes out, man. Think of all the memories, look at all the pictures, go through everything, and just be sad. Go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and just attack. Write down your vision of, okay, now I'm in a new mindset. Okay, what am I gonna do? You're not out of it completely. Yes, it's still gonna hurt. I'm not saying that. But you got to get to a point where you tell yourself that the work's got to get done no matter what. Whatever it is, whether it be fitness, whether it be in your goals, whatever it is, it's got to get done because if nobody's going to stop for you, why are you going to stop for you? Because you're the only person that is going to make your life better. So sitting there and being upset, pouting about whatever situation you're going through, man, you're just hurting yourself at that point,
Yeah.
So I ultimately want who I speak to, I want to be able to share that as just like, man, just knuckle down and get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, no matter, I use fitness as that outlet, but it's no matter what you're trying to do and any goals that you have.
There's a fine line with kind of what you said. Like as men, we have responsibilities as to what we're supposed to do and providing things of that nature. Shit hits the fan at the most random times, right?
Yeah.
Shit happens, man, and as men, you have to know that it's okay for things to not be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay
Mm-hmm.
for the moment.
Right.
Just because life happens, shit happens, we are all human. We go through emotions, and shit affects us all differently.
Yeah.
The problem is whenever you choose to stay in that low mindset, in
Exactly.
that grief, in that sadness,
Exactly.
in that disappointment, whatever the emotion is,
Exactly.
because it becomes a decision to stay at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever has happened has already happened. It's in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You grieved. You kind of, um, took in all of it mentally. Okay, like you said, now got to come up with a game plan.
Yeah.
What are we going to do now?
Yeah.
How are we going to get out of this situation?
Exactly.
How am I going to use what just happened as motivation to get better?
Yeah.
As a learning lesson to get better.
Exactly.
That has to be the switch. And the reason is goes back to what you said. The world will not stop.
Yeah, it won't.
It won't. So it's tough, man, but that's just the reality of it, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah, it's living, and it comes back to living with intention of what you're doing as a man and or a woman, whatever you're doing. If you really want what you want, you got to go after it. And you got to work for it, and have intention with everything that you're doing. Is what you're doing at the moment? Is what you're doing at the time? Is it helping you or is it bringing you down? Because if it's bringing you down, why do you want to do it?
yeah.
And I ultimately always say too is like, there's nothing. You look at it as like, oh man, I want to have fun and I want to do both. Like, why can I not do both? You can. You definitely can. If you want to have these certain nights, you go play video games and get drunk or whatever. Do it, man. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Nobody is stopping you. Nobody can control you. In the same way that you can control the good stuff, you can do whatever you like. You can, the same way you can do whatever you want to do. You have free will. You can do whatever you want. I personally say all the time, because I've had some people, we're like, why are you saying all the time? We got to be motivated all the time and do all this stuff. And it's like, I'm not. I might be, and you're not. That's okay. I'm not gonna look at you and be like, dude, what's wrong with you? Why are you playing video games on a Thursday night or Saturday night?
Like, hey, that's your life.
That's your
You do
life,
what you
man.
do.
If you're having fun, go do it.
Yeah.
But and we talked about this a while back, man.
Yep.
You cannot. That's what I see all the time, man. It's like you cannot complain or be upset that you don't have that, or you're not there, or you're not where you want to be because you chose that. And it comes the opposite way. If I'm sitting here, I'm not going out and having a good time and doing all this stuff with my friends and different things that I would love to be doing. I cannot be mad at them or myself or anything that I'm doing because I decided I got to get up at 4 in the morning to go to the gym, so I got to go to sleep early. Can't go out. Can't eat that ice cream bazooki at BJ's because my calories are already maxed out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't be mad at anybody, but it's my decision.
You can control your action. You can control your actions. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can't control the consequences that come with those actions.
Exactly.
You can't commit a crime and they take you to jail and you said, I only think I deserve 30 days in prison.
Yeah.
It don't work like that.
Yeah.
However long it takes for whatever you did,
Yeah.
that's what they're going to put you. That's how long they're going to put you in for.
Man. That's
You
how
can't
it works.
you can't have it both ways.
Mhm.
Like you said, we did talk about this. If you do what you do, don't complain.
Exactly.
Don't complain about your situation. Don't complain about this person's taking off. Don't say this person's lucky
Mm-hmm.
because you had the same exact opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We have the same exact 24 hours in the day. Am I wrong?
We do.
So, Nico, any last words before we wrap this thing up, man?
Yeah. Last words I would definitely say is that, the story and everything that I was talking about, it's nothing crazy. It's nothing major. Like I said at the beginning, I want to be able to show that anybody can do anything that they want to do. I chose the fitness route and doing all the stuff that I'm doing, but when you generally put your mind to something that you want to get done, and you change that mindset of like, okay, this sucks, I don't want to do this anymore, to like how, like you were saying, how do I make it better? How do I wake up and reevaluate everything that I'm doing? Man, you can get it done. That's what I've learned over the months and the years that I've been doing this, and just learning every day has been a blessing. And just learning how I can really control my mind and control those controllables of what I can do. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm honored to be here, man. I really appreciate it. I had a great time.
Yes, sir.
VillaLifts _ Instagram, VillaLifts on YouTube.
Give my man a follow. Give my man a subscribe.
Little subscribe
like.
action.
Go show some love, man. Dude, really good head on his shoulders. Really good mindset.
Appreciate that.
I really, am blessed to have met you for real.
Yeah, definitely.
For real, man. Love having people like you in my life because, like-minded people is the best way to go as far as your circle of influence. So
I'm really got to get some biceps like yours, man.
Hey, man.
I'm trying.
I got a sweater on, so
I'm trying every day, but y'all saw me flex, but I'm glad he has a sweater on. 'Cause he would
I
destroy
appreciate it, man. It was
Yeah,
nice
man.
having you on, man. We'll do this again sometime.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you've made it this far, y'all are the best. If y'all did make it this far, follow VillaLifts
VillaLifts, VillaLifts on YouTube.
on YouTube, and then what is it on
VillaLifts,
Instagram?
VillaLifts _on
_on
VillaLifts was
Instagram.
taken, unfortunately.
Follow me on Instagram, Jimmy 1 of 1.
Yep.
Follow the podcast page. It's the 1 of 1 pod. Go follow, show some love. But other than that, I'll leave it off with this: be different, be one of one. We're out. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.